Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Campus Dialogues, a Muslim Views production in affiliation with MuslimFin. MuslimFin, your roadmap to Islamic banking and finance. I'm your host Ali Salih, and here to introduce our guest this evening is my good friend and colleague Siraj Buzik. Siraj?
Walaikum salam. Ali, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, good to be back.
Always good to be in studio. And like I always say, another week, another podcast. And today we have a very interesting guest with us in studio. Goes by the name of Hasanain Abdullah. And he's a communications and marketing professional serving as the project manager at the National Awqaf SA Foundation of South Africa. And in this role, he leads marketing and media engagement efforts, promoting Awqaf's SA's initiatives that leverages Islamic endowments for empowerment and self-reliance. He has an educational background in communication science. He's involved with media engagements on radio and TV as a strategic means of communication to foster sustainable development and drive social change across South Africa. An avid reader of books, he loves connecting with leaders at industry events and enjoys the outdoors, whether it is in the mountains or road running. Hassan Abdullah, welcome to our podcast.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm very pleased to be here. This podcast is definitely going places. You're interviewing all the right people, so it's indeed an honor to be here with you today.
No, alhamdulillah, I think we're very pleased to hear that, but we're more honored to have you on our show. Myself and Ali has been speaking about it for a bit, so we do appreciate you taking the time out to be here. So then, as a starting point, we'd always like to ask our guests to just give an introduction into who you are. I know I read a bit of your bio, but who is Hasanain Abdullah?
So Hasanain is from a family of four. I'm the youngest. And we come from a family that's very socially conscious. My dad imbibed certain values in me. My mom was also very involved in lots of these social structures. And just in short, being part of something to uplift mankind and to be part of a team to come up with a solution to solve some of our contemporary challenges. During that time, perhaps, my mother, father, siblings, they were all somehow involved in formations that strived for equality and justice at the time. My sister was very involved in grassroots. It was a BAM publication during apartheid. My mother was involved as part of the Islamic Women's Society, a group of women that did outreach and work within the townships, and that was illegal during that time. So that has definitely shaped my reality.
Wow, that's amazing. Hasanain, your journey from tech to Awqaf is quite interesting. Your career basically has taken you through roles in online content management and integrated marketing. What sparked your interest in technology in transforming Awqaf institutions?
Well, it all started in Standard 7. I was at Islamia, and we had Mr. Essa. He was our computer science or IT teacher at that time. And at the school, alhamdulillah, I think computer literacy or computer science was a required subject that we took. We were in the computer PC labs. But the way Mr. Essa framed the discussion around computers, and during 1993, this was the introduction of personal computers, and he definitely piqued my interest into the world of computers and exposed us to basic programming, so as a start. And coupled with that, during that same year, I started a weekend and a holiday job where I was able to work with the latest technology, computers. So if you think of the dot matrix printers, monochrome monitors, and my job was there to capture data, and my job supported the accounting department. So at an early age, I was exposed to this world of technologies where we use computers as a tool.
Now, Hasanain, I just want to take one step back here quickly. So, for the audience that doesn't know, what is Awqaf?
So, Awqaf is the National Awqaf Foundation of South Africa. Awqaf has been around for the past 21 years. And Awqaf was established in response to the socio-economic and political challenges that we faced in a post-apartheid world. It was because we face a lot of inequality and disparities between the richer and the poor. We find lots of the marginalized and the poor that make up for the majority of people. And these people reside within informal township areas. It's densely populated. And there's so much challenges. And Awqaf was established with a view to come up with some sort of a roadmap and a charter to come up with solutions that was going to empower our communities, that was going to build self-reliance and not keep our communities engaged in illiteracy and poverty. So Awqaf invests donors' funds, contributions from the public, banks this into Waqf funds. The capital never gets used, and the return of these Waqf funds are used to fund a variety of projects. In education, we've got our maths upgrade program. We restore people's eyesight through our cataract program. We come to the rescue of water-stressed communities through our BOIL program, and a host of other programs that aims to assist communities for the long term.
Okay. So then you had quite a huge career in corporate tech, and now as being the project manager at Awqaf, what key lessons from the tech industry do you believe Awqaf institutions can adopt to become more efficient, transparent, and impactful in the modern world?
So I've got a previous post was in the telecommunications sector. We have provided tech support.
Okay.
And that really taught me about you could be engaging with a donor, assisting someone, a stakeholder, in terms of honoring them, respecting them, showing up for them, and providing a very good interaction, or so to say, after-sales support for that donor that has a query. So that's what the telecommunications sector has taught me. And some of the other posts that I have been exposed to or I occupied in the renewable space sector, I worked with some top-notch conference producers, and it had actually an international footprint. So some of this work ethic and sensibility, I bring that to Awqaf, whether we are doing a Waqf symposium, or a conference, a grassroots workshop. We always try and put our best foot forward in terms of educating the public and having an industry-specific conference or a seminar of the highest integrity.
So then, for our audience, we always like to kind of steer away and explain some of the jargon that's being used. So you mentioned Waqf, and you mentioned that funds are collected and then they are invested and then they're used for Waqf. Can you maybe give us some insight into that process, and also what is Waqf?
So what Waqf, and thank you for that question, Ali. It's during these engagements, these are also an opportunity to share information to the broader public out there, because at times we see lots of people within the Waqf sector or academics are well au fait with Waqf. But to the man on the street, there's a challenge out there for us to create that education around Waqf. So Waqf is you dedicating a portion of your wealth to Allah. So if you dedicate 1,000 rand as Waqf, you are transferring your ownership to Allah. So no one will own this. This will be it's like similar to a Baytul Mal. So that is your gift. You are gifting this to Allah. And this is for the benefit of the Ummah, for the broader. And Waqf has a connotation or meaning to stop. So you cease and you stop your ownership of whether it's land, jewelry, cash that you're giving as Waqf. So your rights cease, and until perpetuity, Allah will be the owner of Awqaf.
That's interesting. When we go to the massages, for example, sometimes we see men with garments, and on the back of the garment is written Waqaf, and that's in a sense that garment belongs to Allah, in a sense, and that's just an easy example for some of the audience to understand. But coming back to the Awqaf is a organization. What are some of the projects that you guys have been involved in that you are most proud of? I know you guys have been doing amazing work, but maybe you can share some of that with us.
So currently, and I think this is a project that we will be busy with for a long time. So we are men over here. So this project is very close to my heart. It's called the Moral Regeneration Workshop for Young Men. There are many programs out there to foster leadership in females, the girl child. But there are no resources or a lack thereof and development tools that are shared for young men. So this is a program that targets young men who enter into the high school system. Not the older boys, the younger boys as they come in. And lots of these programs, we go to areas such as Mount View, Hanover Park. We've gone to Kailicha. In some of these areas, the learners grow up, they have a myriad of challenges, robbery, unemployment, no access to facilities, gang violence, alcoholism, drug abuse, stigma to living in some of these social trouble spots. So this workshop has been good. We've been working with a small cohort of young men, and because of the social challenges in the areas, they feel disempowered, they feel frustrated, and they express their lack of power through maybe brawls at school, truancy, lacking in that responsibility. And some of these workshops has been able to instill sound values in men, where they respect females, where they honor their mothers, and also it's an opportunity for us to foster leaders in the community. So that is one. The other program that continues to inspire is Awqaf's Maths Workshop program. We've been doing this since 2016. We have conducted this program because we have realized since 2016 that South Africa ranks amongst the lowest when it comes to performance in grade 12 mathematics. So alhamdulillah, this program has grown in leaps and bounds. It has matured, and this program is now producing learners that are scoring 100% in mathematics. For our 2024 cohort, there was a lady that scored 98%. So we are producing professionals in astrophysics, medicine, and these are all careers for the future. And it's also assisted learners in socially challenged areas such as Soshanguve, where they have improved from 50% up to 75 and 80%, allowing them an entrance to university and the like. And just one more example to note, the one project that's been uplifting communities has been our Bowl program. So there are institutions such as orphanages, elders care facilities, and a network of schools. Their services has been disrupted due to water cuts or water shortages, and as a result of us installing bowls at schools have been able to operate normally. And we find that at some of our orphanages in Indonesia that when there is time of water cuts and water shortages where the community are suffering, these centers open up their taps and we have long queues, and they are able to supply water to those that are affected. So it's a benefit to the whole community. And this is where Awqaf is, Ali, you can say, a shock absorber against some of these potholes and these challenges that we do face on this journey called life.
Okay, that's very interesting. I mean, that's I enjoyed the success stories of some of the programs that you've been running, and I want to speak about the youth. I mean, what is being done to connect the youth with Awqaf, in the sense that today's younger generation, they're deeply engaged with technology, but often disconnected from traditional institutions like Awqaf. What innovative strategies or platforms do you think could make Awqaf relevant and attractive to young Muslim entrepreneurs, investors, and tech leaders?
So just to start off with that question, it's a very important question, because what we do find is from the donor base, our older donors, our dedicated long-term donors, they are passing on now.
Yeah.
And they relied maybe on conventional means. Go to the bank or do an EFT, the old conventional way. And we're finding now that Awqaf is attracting a younger donor, a post-university donor. And they want to find out about our programs. And they do come to our programs. But we're finding more younger career professionals are starting to donate to Awqaf. So we have a very easy means of donating to Awqaf. So the younger audience would want to scan in a QR code and then off you go. Punch in the amount, very effortless process. So we do have that in place in terms of younger donors interacting with us. And then Awqaf, we do have programs such as ASRI. It's a think tank. It's a program for post-university students. And we've had some success with this program, and it's targeted for the younger, look at it like a future leaders program. The one thing that Awqaf is definitely tech-centric. They make use of the latest technology, and how we attract the youth is we have lots of curated, maybe short form and long form live stream programs. And some of our impact stories and some of the stories of Awqaf, it's on certain communication touch points that young people consume. So it's short form as opposed to long form.
Now, Hasanain, if I think about it from a financial aspect, right? And you saying that you're reaching out to more of the younger professionals, entrepreneurs, people that you've made the donation process seamless. If I think about it, from a, let's say, investment perspective or a planning perspective or a estate planning perspective, many times people, especially within the Muslim community, don't necessarily consider within their wills or their estates or in their various trusts to have a portion of the wealth maybe donated to Awqaf, to have it go to Awqaf or to an institution like Awqaf SA. I'm just curious, are there programs around that potentially on educating these young professionals who are now getting into that point where they start to make quite a bit of money, right? And instead of it having just be a donation, but maybe have it be more of a deeper thought into, let me give a portion of my estate, to this institution, and that is actually going to be for Allah in a sense, and it's going to be for the community, for the benefit of the community. Does Awqaf provide those types of courses or educational programs, or is that part of the discourse?
Yes, certainly. So Awqaf has the Waqf Academy, and this caters for post-school learners. So lots of your learners from the Medina Institute, IPSA University, UCT, UWC, Stellenbosch, universities around the world. So this is the orientation to Awqaf, where learners can sign up, orientate themselves around Waqaf and get a certificate around there. And it has a wealth of case studies from the thought leaders on Waqaf. If you want to find out more specific information around Waqaf. Then the other means that we do outreach and awareness is through a Waqaf workshop, where we have this with community organizations. Then the other one that it's quite popular, and lots of people in different quarters look forward to it, and this is the Waqaf Symposium, where we attract professionals from around the world, but it's a 2-3 day seminar on Waqaf, but different aspects around Waqaf. And also, we do find some people coming to ask us some questions, you know. I want to make a Waqaf, I want to give this land, and so on. The other part also, we have a pledge line every year. So it encourages donors to contribute to Awqaf, make their Waqaf, but it's more around explaining the concept of Waqaf and how it can work through the impact stories. And alhamdulillah, we do find within our base that there are many families that donate perhaps a property, and this property would have perhaps 2 or 3 levels, where there's retail on the first level, a madrasa on the second level, and a masajid on the third level, or vice versa. And they are giving that land as Waqaf. So the business tenant would pay that rent, would go back into the pool. The madrasa will be maybe fully subsidized, and that retail income would look after the needs of the madrasa as well as the masjid. So what we are finding is that this institution of Waqaf is alien to us. It's alien to us because of some contributing factors, is that we haven't produced enough books around the subject. So we've got a responsibility to produce more books. And also a contributing factor is during the colonial mission of the 1900s, lots of the prime Waqaf land in Algeria, in India, in South Africa, from around the world, lots of the Waqaf land that was intended for social relief for a community, for a village, whether it be a well agricultural land, lots of these were usurped by the colonial powers. So Waqaf was a concept that was stripped from our mind, our imagination, and it was no longer a thriving institution. So as part of the work of Awqaf is reviving this institution of Waqaf. And I think this is a very important task that we do have, because I think more than now, because of some of the economic challenges that our society has faced, especially the people that's at the base of the pyramid, they are very vulnerable. So the Waqaf serves to assist them.
Okay. So then, I wanted to ask, especially from our viewers' perspective, if there were people that would like to assist or donate or get involved with initiatives, I mean, how do they go about it? Who do they contact? Who do they get involved with?
So look, we're always on the lookout for talent. So if you are an accountant, a lawyer, you've got X amount of time to volunteer. You've retired, or you entered the workspace, but you've got some talent and expertise to offer, and then definitely reach out to us. We have an initiative at the moment. It's called the Youth Entrepreneurship Fund. So the one aspect is supporting youth entrepreneurship as a means to bridge the gap or this growing unemployment number here in South Africa. So I don't think the government will be able to close that gap and cater for all. And there's one aspect of seed funding, the youth entrepreneurs, and the other aspect is also that nurturing these businesses through the top talent, through their mentorship and their hours. So that is definitely what we do want, and inshallah they can reach out to us on our website, awqafsa.org.za. And we have our contact details over there, and we're very interactive when we will always encourage suggestion, advice, and assistance from the public.
Hassanin, I know that you recently attended the Ummah Tech conference. Maybe you can tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so Alhamdulillah, the Ummah Tech conference, the inaugural edition of the conference took place in Johannesburg, November 2025. It was a very good conference, and inshallah, it's more than just a conference. So the idea is, especially during this time that we're living in an age of censorship and lots of challenges, you know, us as Muslims, we have to have sovereignty over the full stack. You know, you could have a YouTube, a Facebook account, an X account. You could be posting content that's disparaging to the originators of these platforms or the creators of it, and you face censorship. So these are one of the themes that came out of the conference. But in short, it brought together some of the top talent here in South Africa, developers, in the IT space, business owners, the greatest brains in AI, marketing. And Ummah Tech is about coming together, uniting, and pooling resources to build something for the benefit of the Ummah. So as the world contracts because of the rise of the global south, and we have some pressures from the West as well, I think there is a need for the Ummah to be united, to share resources. And Alhamdulillah, recently there was, and the idea with Ummah Tech is to have quarterly meetups with vendors in the space. And this took place in Cape Town, and we're finding that lots of the talent within the tech space, they are alone and isolated, because lots of the conventional tech events takes place. There's no facilities for salah, the food is not necessarily halal, and the networking, the big business deals happens at the end of these conferences when the drinks come out. That those dinner parties. Yeah. So this is where Muslims don't partake, and we are marginalized from these networking opportunities. So Ummah Tech aims to fill this gap. So inshallah, watch this space. November 2025, it will be hosted here in Cape Town, and we'll bring the greatest minds to share, unite, and let us grow together.
There you have it, guys. The Ummah Tech Conference, November 25th, 2025. Look out for that. And if you like this episode, please give us a like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the bell icon. And Hassanin, we want to thank you very much for being here. Very inspiring. Keep up the good work. Keep doing the good things that you've been doing. And we look forward to having you on the podcast again soon. And with that, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.